Welcome to Spooky News from Spooky Ventures for January 3rd, 2020. It is our first Spooky News segment of the year, and let's hope we all have a great year. Happy New Year, everyone, and remember, all year long, keep it spooky. Have you ever watched the videos we've been releasing and wondered if there's any sort of pattern to when we release what? Well, there has been a little bit of a pattern up until now, but to a large degree I was trying to get out a lot of video content in a hurry to build up our channel. But, with the first of the year, things are changing. So, from now on, there's an actual pattern to when things release. On Sundays, if there's a new Spooky Places, that'll get released. Mondays, we'll see a new audiobook. That'll probably be pretty much every Monday. Tuesday, if we've got a new video interview, that'll be running, which we always did. The Spooky Places and interview, if we were going to run those were the days they always ran anyway. But a lot of times I put in other things if I didn't have one. From now on, if it comes out on Sunday, it's going to be Spooky Places. Tuesday will be an interview. Wednesday will be a video review if we have one. On Thursday, we'll do one of the old-time radio shows. Friday, as always, will be Spooky News. And then Saturday, I'm leaving open for now. There's a plan for a type of video to go there, which, as far as I know, is still in the works. We'll see. One way or another, I think we'll make it happen, but I'm not going to talk about it until it actually does. So now you know the whole schedule for the Spooky News releases, or Spooky video releases from Spooky Ventures. Sorry, Spooky News is strictly Friday. In case you missed it, we debuted a new video on New Year's Day highlighting some of the best parts at least for Spooky Ventures and the spooky side of Tales of Wonder and Dread, the best parts of 2019. Actually, there are a couple little personal highlights in there too. So in case you missed it, it's out there. Be sure and check it out. I know a lot of people were probably busy doing New Year's stuff that day. A new video surfaced this week of a pulsating orb that was seen in South Carolina in the sky. I'm sharing an article about it, and you can read. That gives more details than the video itself does. But I'll see if I can put the video in the playlist for Spooky Ventures, and you can have a look at the article and the video and see what you think it might be if you have a clue. There are a lot of Americans who have seen UFOs. I make no judgment on what they are, but I've actually seen some myself. Um, and among those, we found out from a podcast that Danica Patrick did, is NFL quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who plays for the Green Bay Packers. Talk a bit about his. She talks a bit about his encounter near a nuclear plant. And about a UFO that looked enormous. So, if you've seen UFOs, you're in good company. So apparently, the town hall in a place called Epping, New Hampshire, is thought perhaps to be haunted. I guess this all came about when a paper on a desk flew up while there was a meeting going on and landed on the microphone. Um, so they're bringing in a team of paranormal investigators at the end of January on the 30th to check the place out. I'm sure there'll be video showing up of what they find if they get anything interesting. So stay tuned for updates on that. So there's a new video and photo that has surfaced of a singer doing Christmas songs at a mansion that's supposedly haunted, and there's some mist over him. I don't know. Personally, I think it looks more like fog or something, but it all depends. Could the people there see it? I don't know. You have a look at it. I'll share the article and see what you think. Be sure to leave some comments if you want to. Let me know what your thoughts are. In Brisbane, Australia, there was a new picture that surfaced. A man took of a cemetery, and he claims there's a ghost floating above one of the graves. Now, the article is from the Daily Mail, and I'll share the article. You'll be able to look for it because of the sourcing on this video, and also the detail section has the link. So have a look at it, see what you think. I don't know. It could be a lot of things, but he's pretty well convinced he caught a ghost. Perhaps he did. Corey Taylor, the singer for Slipknot, has just completed writing a script for a horror film, and now he's in the process of trying to shop it around and get investors and actually produce the movie. So that could be kind of interesting. Seems like a lot of musicians are get into horror movies in one way or another, from Rob Zombie to the rapper I spoke about the other day. It just seems like a thing that a lot of musicians get involved in. Horror News Network has picked the best horror comic anthology for 2019, and it's a title called Our Adventures. No, sorry, Our Encounters with Evil. Adventures of Professor J.T. Meinhardt and his assistant, Mr. Knox. Probably not a surprise. It comes from Dark Horse Comics. They're high quality stuff and get into a lot of horror type stuff. So be sure to check that out if you're into horror comics. Apparently, BBC Sounds has produced a new podcast based on H.P. Lovecraft's The Whisperer in Darkness. Now, what they've done is they've moved the story location from Vermont to the UK to tie it into a local UFO bit of mythology or lore. So that should be kind of interesting stuff. I mean, taking a fresh take on something, and that's pretty much how a lot of drama and movies and stuff works anyway. So it's kind of cool. As some of you probably know, Stephen King likes to tweet quite a bit, and a website called Mashable has assembled all of his tweets for the year where he's recommended a book, movie, or TV show, and they've assembled it all into one cool little article. Well, it's less of an article, more of just a collection of his tweets, but I'll share the link to that. You can check it out, see about his recommendations for various media for the year of 2019. An interesting article at Screen Rant has Stephen King listing a number of his favorite adaptations of his works. His list includes Dolores Claiborne and Misery and Cujo, in which he says he loves the adaptation, but he doesn't remember writing the book. So that's kind of interesting. I'll share the article. You can have a look at it. There's a horror-themed restaurant in Indiana. It's in Decatur, Indiana, and it's called Famous Monster Pizza. And they've got, some of your usual run of food, but a lot of the things are named after monsters. Famous monsters, literally. I think that the whole thing is a nod to the same genre of film that Famous Monsters of Filmland was devoted to. So if you want to have a something tasty like a let's see, like a Poultrygeist pizza or a Wolfman pizza or I was a teenage cheeseburger pizza, you really should try to go to Decatur, Indiana, and give this place a try. I've never heard of it before, but a new article just showed up. So if I'm ever in that area, you can bet I'll be stopping in. So I still haven't seen the new versions of Halloween that have been coming out, but apparently there's a new TV series in the works for Netflix, and it's going to basically pay tribute to the original Halloween while wiping out all the sequels and creating its own particular history or universe. So that could be interesting. I don't know. There are enough Halloween universes out there. I'm not sure we need another, but this one could be fun. stay tuned. Keep your eye on Netflix and keep your eye on spooky news, because I'm sure I'll have more news as it becomes available. If you're a fan of the horror film from the 70s, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and really, who doesn't love that version? It's absolutely a classic. And you happen to be in the North Carolina area on January 10th, you might want to make your way to RiverRun Theatre. Veronica Cartwright, who's in the movie, will be at the theater, and they'll be doing showings, two showings of the film. And she'll also do a question and answer section, and talk about it a bit, and everything. So that would be something really worth checking out if you happen to be around that area. It's in Winston-Salem, if I didn't mention that before. So make plans if you're going to be there. Graveyard Shift has a list of the most underrated horror films of the last 10 years. And I've only seen, and I haven't seen the whole thing, one movie on the list, which is The Green Room. Personally, I kind of lost interest in it partway through. But beyond that, you've got a lot of other movies on the list, 9 other movies on the list to be precise. So maybe have a look, see what you think, see if you agree with the list, see if you've got some other movies you think should be on the list. Leave a comment on the video and let me know what you think. There's an interesting article from Bloody Disgusting that came out this past week. The argument is that the Conjuring universe pretty much defined the entire decade of horror films. I don't know that I necessarily agree with it, but part of that might be my bias towards those films. At least the only one I've seen, which is the first one, I found to be a pretty competent movie up until near the end, when it just got over the top ridiculous. Again, you guys might love the movie, but it's just my opinion. But so perhaps I'm a little biased against the whole franchise. That said, it's arguably the most successful horror film franchise in history. Maybe Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street come close. But it's a different sort of universe too, and it all ultimately, probably, at least according to the article, had a lot to do with a lot of the resurgence of horror films in the last decade. So I don't know. Why don't you read the article? The link is in the details section, and leave a comment and let me know what you think of the article. See if you agree with it, disagree. Yeah, tell me about my opinion on Conjuring too. I'm sure a lot of people completely disagree with that as well. But let me know. Like I said, this is supposed to be interactive, so, and have a look at the article and see what you think. January 7th, we'll see the release of the horror movie The Shed on DVD and Blu-Ray. So if you've been looking for that, your wait is almost over. Screen Rant always has some good lists, and you guys, if you follow these, you know I love lists of things. And they've got one for the 10 most underrated horror films of the decade, including things like The Prodigy, Devil in the Dark. I mean, like I said, there are 10 in the list, so you can check out that list. I literally have never seen any of these movies, so I may have to frequent the list and find films to check out, because this sounds pretty promising. This week there's just one new movie opening, well, new horror movie anyway, and it's the reboot, retool of The Grudge. So if you want to get out and see that, this is the first weekend you can do that. It opens today. As always, please remember, Spooky Ventures is very much an interactive thing. Share our videos, like our videos, subscribe to the channel, and if you've got ideas for videos, let us know. Leave comments about things you like about them. Leave comments about your opinions on things in them. Whatever you do, just please interact with us. That's what this is all about. And that's a wrap for this week's edition of Spooky News. Be sure to tune in next week, and always remember, keep it spooky. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.